everyone, it's Ashley again, and as part of our Symbiotic Relationship video series, I am here today to talk to you guys about mutualism or a mutualistic relationship. So mutualism is when both organisms benefit from each other. So a really good example of this would be with bees and flowers. So bees will visit flowers and they will drink the nectar and they benefit from that flower because it provides food for them. The flower benefits from the bee because the bee gets pollen from the flower on its body, and then when it goes to visit another flower, it deposits that pollen on that other flower, and that helps that flower create more seeds. So in that situation, both the bee and the flower are benefiting from their interactions. That's a good example of a mutualistic relationship. Another good example of mutualism is actually on this tree right next to me. So on this tree, you guys can see this beautiful kind of gray, pale blue colors and these beautiful orange and green colors. And this is a tiny organism called lichen. And lichen is one of the most beautiful things that we have in nature and something that we see probably every day and we just don't notice it that much. So I'm gonna get out my magnifying glass so that we can take a closer look at lichen. All right, and so now we are taking a closer look at this beautiful lichen growing on this tree. And lichen like to grow in moist areas, so they like to grow on wet tree trunks. They'll grow on sticks, they grow on rocks, they will grow on wet soil. And lichen is a relationship between a fungus and an algae. So the fungus is bigger and stronger than the algae, and so it provides most of the shape for the lichen. It kind of provides a home for the algae to live in. And then algae, like all plants, can create its own food using the process of photosynthesis. The algae uses sunlight to produce food. And so the fungus kind of binds itself to the algae because then it gets a constant supply of food. And then the algae gets to live in some neat areas that it wouldn't be able to live in otherwise. So algae usually grows in water, but when it comes together with the fungus to create lichen, it can grow on a lot of more diverse surfaces and a lot of different ecosystems and habitats. So you can find lichen in forests, in sandy soils, on trees just like this one. So that's how they both benefit. The algae gets to grow on some unique different surfaces, and the fungus gets some food. So that's the mutualistic relationship for lichen. So there are actually 3 different types of lichen. And so the one we're looking at is foliose or leaf-like. And this gray lichen down here, this is called star rosette lichen. And then the other kind of lichen, we have crustose, which is crust-like. You can usually find it on a lot of different rocks. Let me keep going up here. And then finally we have fruticose lichen, which is shrub-like or hair-like. So if you ever see lichen that's growing up and it kind of looks like a teacup, or growing down and it kind of looks like wisps of hair, that is fruticose lichen. I moved over to this fence post now so I could show you guys another place where lichen can grow. And lichen actually covers about 7% of the Earth's terrestrial surface. So like I said earlier, they're one of those things that we probably see very often and we just maybe don't notice it that much. Ooh, that one's green. So lichen can come in like many different colors. You can have green, orange, red, blue, gray, and it really just depends on the type of fungus and the type of algae that are interacting together in that mutualistic relationship. And algae is really beneficial, lichen is really beneficial in the ecosystems that they're in. They provide habitat for our tiny little insects and spiders. They also There's over 50 different species of birds that use lichen as part of their nesting materials. And then another cool thing about lichen is that it is an indicator of good air quality. So lichen will usually grow where there is good air. So if you're seeing lichen grow on things around you, take in a deep breath of that fresh air and know that you are living in a place with good air quality. So I think that's all the lichen that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video on this mutualistic relationship. Have a great day.